Y'all know what, so just sit back and relax because the show's about to start. Yeah. I'm saying? Yeah.
What's up, everybody? My name is Danny, and I am with Sherry Williams, and we are your hosts for Down to Earth Talk. Trying to some more positivity into the world. We are actively trying to find ways that we can bring positive stories to your way. And so we are excited to be here with you today. We're both in a little bit of a different location. Sherry now is, I'll let you say where you are and say hello to everyone.
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, working at our amazing.
Go ahead.
I was saying it. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. Can you hear me, Danny?
I can. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Because
Are we on a delay?
I don't know. Yeah, I think so. I was talking.
All right.
And I don't know what I'm doing. So,
Sorry.
all right. So I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm at the Heritage Station Apartments. And I get to work with my amazing daughter today. Hello. And we're getting ready to choose our VIP for our community. I got to choose a VIP for our seniors too.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done that yet. Anyways, that's what we're doing today in Atlanta.
Nice. And I am actually in Houston currently. My wife and I have a wedding we're going to tonight. And so we're excited for that. The time change normally doesn't affect me, but with a 1-year-old, it definitely affects me. Definitely having a more difficult time adjusting to it than I have in the past. So today we wanted to bring you something that is dear and near to both Sherry and I's heart. And it's something that we've actually implemented in our company as a teaching point, but also as a company culture, like just a belief system that we have, kind of a foundation that we've established a long time ago. And it's something that to this day is very important to us. We're always going over it, looking at it, trying to make sure that what we're doing here is lining up with this. So we are, the title of the show, obviously, if you're watching this, is The 7 Pillars of Family. And so that's what we're talking about today. Now, these pillars of family, we developed. How long ago did we develop these? It was a while ago, right?
Geez, must have been. We've been doing this for 17 years. So I think about, many crickets, maybe 12 years. When you started, because you wrote those out for us.
It was about
and I was
that
like,
time.
yes,
yeah.
That's it right there.
Yeah, it was about that time, and it's something that obviously in both of our professional careers or in this business that we have, but also our professional careers that you and I have been developing for a long time, even before we were doing it professionally. I think you and I have always been community builders and always had a desire to help families and help build families. And so the 7 pillars of family are not just something that we just, sat down and came up with one day, but it's been a long lasting development that we've had.
Mm-hmm.
And so today we want to share with you the 7 pillars of family. We want to talk with you about what each pillar means and give you real life examples of what that is. And so, yeah. So we'll go through each one and we'll reveal each one. I have this handy dandy app to be able to pop them up. But really quick, just want to let everybody know, if you're watching from Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever it is, if you comment in the section, if you put in the comment section, use the word, that's the wrong word. I changed it. I changed it right before we went. If you comment and you use the hashtag family, then you will be entered to win a fabulous prize.
Okay.
There we go. Comment and use the word family, and you'll be entered to win a fabulous prize.
All right.
So, but anyways, Sherry, family.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's something that, you know, it's easy to say, oh, family is super important. What do you think? Why do you think family is so important?
Because they're your power system, they're your support system, and we need each other. And what's so awesome, you know, of course we need our immediate families, but people that aren't born, you know, we aren't born in the same family, we still need each other. And I think that's what I love about what we do is that we are building those family bonds with people that we initially don't know, and that we begin to know, and we start to know, and it all is so scary at first, because not for us, like this is what we do, so we're just like, hey, you're going to be in our family and you have no choice. But you know, for people who aren't used to people like us, it's scary on their end, I would assume, because it's not, you know, easy to trust. And so that's, you know, when we start planning and when we talk about stuff, that's really, we're trying to break down these barriers of trust, non-trust, because it is very true that, like, you know, people aren't as reliable as we would like them to be. And so, I mean, family's everything. They share your successes, your losses, your joys, your low points, and it can be your biggest cheerleaders.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that I've always said this, that you really have three types of family, right? You have the family that you're born into; those are the natural family, the people that are your brothers and your sisters, your parents. You have no choice in who you're born to, right? Into that
Yeah.
family, you have no choice. But as you get older, you begin to develop family. You build family, and sometimes family isn't necessarily blood. You know, oftentimes you and I refer to each other as family, and
Yeah.
even our Facebook has us as brother and sister, and people are like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
But
Nepotism.
we so you have your family that you're born into, you have the family that you choose, that you build, and then I think that if you're a person of faith, you have God's family that then again you're reborn into, right? And
Yeah.
that's a family you can't choose. So that middle family, that family that you build, that is a super taking pictures of the community center.
Yeah.
I could tell because it's from the corner.
Yeah.
But you build that family. You get to choose who's in that family, and sometimes that's the hardest family because there is the choice. And I think sometimes that family there will be feel like, just like every family, there will sometimes feel like members are distant, members are not as close, members are not as involved. But then it's always family. It's
Yeah.
always family. People come in and go, just like a marriage family, right? Like, you know, people get married and then new members come in, or people get divorced and then people leave the family. You know, so like there's always these integral changing. But the seven pillars of family that we're talking about today, what we're really talking about is what makes family and what are the important elements that are involved in family. And so we're just going to start into this. The first pillar of family is you are allowed to be yourself. And
Yeah.
that is probably one of the most important pillars. They all work together, but that's probably one of the most important pillars in the sense of it starts with individuality and the ability to be who you are, right? it starts with embracing the uniqueness of the individuals, and it gives you a place where you can truly shine. You can truly shine from that. What do you think about the idea of allowed to be yourself?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be myself. Okay, so I was driving to work today, and I live in Macon, and I'm working in Atlanta. So I already said that. And so I usually the first 30 minutes or so, I don't have on any music at all. I'm thinking. I enjoy the quiet. So I was enjoying the quiet, and I was thinking when I get to work, and it's time for me to go over to the senior office. I'm going to turn on some old school hip hop that I thoroughly enjoy. I'm going to throw on some either Tupac, or I'm going to throw on the clean version, of course, Tupac or Too Short, and I'm going to bump that, and I'm going to clean the theater, and then I'm going to clean the library, and then I'm going to clean the art room, and then I imagine someone walking in and like, where's this racket coming from? Where's all this music? And I'm like, it's me, yo. And they would look at me like, and I would be like, oh, maybe you don't understand my personality. You know, on the inside, I was born a rapper. And I would make a joke about that. But honestly, like hip hop is on the inside of me, old school hip hop specifically. I'm not sure about this new school stuff. Some of it is okay. But I just love that. And my kids, like I bought a book called The ABCs of Hip Hop for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And I am teaching my children hip hop historical figures and how they made impact on today's hip hop. And but I just love that. And I'm not trying to be anyone. I'm just being myself. So when you brought this up, I was like, that's kind of like, you guys accept that about me. And you guys are cool with that about me. And you don't think I'm trying to be anything or anyone other than who I am. And like Noemi said, that touched my heart. She was like, I like it how you can be professional and then like, what's up, homies? And at the same time, and that's who I am. It's not, and you allow me to be myself. So that's what I think about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's being unapologetically you.
Yeah, that's what it means.
And one of the great things about, so this is something that's important for any family to have, is the individuals have to be unique. They have to be allowed to be themselves. But also in our organization, we encourage that. We encourage people, like you just said, the story about you, about what Noemi said, right? That we encourage people to bring themselves as they are. And that may be buttoned up, that may be suit and tie, that may be leading a staff meeting with let's start with the minutes from our previous meeting. That's not my style. It's not at all my style, but that may be your style. And in our organization, you're allowed to be that. We don't want cookie cutters. We don't want this certain type of person. We may have cookie cutter plans for certain things, but we don't ever want anybody to be a cookie cutter in our organization. So people are allowed to, as it is in family, as well as it is in our organization, people are allowed to be themselves.
Yeah.
Number 2 is you're never alone. And, we always say we got your back, right? The second factor, the second pillar of family is you're never alone. It's fostering a sense of belonging and togetherness, right? Like in family, oh man, there's so many people that we work with, specifically with the seniors, that are living their lives alone and that don't feel that connection, don't feel that connection point, don't feel that they're the ones that are being they just feel alone. And sometimes that is like a real difficult thing,
Yeah.
to be alone is incredibly difficult. And I remember I remember there were days when and I come from a big family. I come from, I grew up in a large faith community. Um, I there's things that I grew up surrounded by people, and I remember coming to California and moving here, and one of my very first kind of experiences of being alone, and all of a sudden I felt that connection through our organization, right? I felt that camaraderie. First of all, it was camaraderie. It was workplace camaraderie, but then it really did develop into a love for one another. And I didn't feel alone. And that's one of our main things that we're working at ATAP is to make sure that people feel included, that people feel a part, that they feel like somebody is there that cares about them, and that they're not alone in this journey. What does never alone mean to you?
Well, Nate Dogg said it best when he said, "Never leave me alone. Never." I bumped that by myself too. Well, just pretty much everything that you said, and like, well, I think a lot of people are afraid to admit that, too prideful to admit that they can get lonely, and because that would mean they need someone else. And I don't need nobody. I mean, that's sometimes the way people look at stuff, but we need each other. I need my girls. They need me. I need you guys. I need my friends. And I guess just admit, I don't know how I can say, I guess not being too prideful to admit that we need each other. And I think a lot of people, like in businesses and companies, sometimes they say it's hard to work with family, right? Because of whatever reason. Maybe they know you and they know you'll cut them slack, and they'll know that you're not going to expect the same things out of. It doesn't have to be that way. You can work with your family. And if you just respect each other's roles and boundaries and stuff, and I respect your time, you respect me, there's no reason why we can't work together. I know that's not the question, but never alone. We're not alone. But it requires us to admit it, that we need each other. And there's no shame in that. There's no shame in saying, and Danny, like, I can't imagine doing this without you at ATAP. I can't imagine. Do we irritate each other? Yes, we do. And we have. But that doesn't mean that we're going to kick each other to the curb. I think we're lifelong family members, along with everyone else that has been on for an extended period of time, that we can't, well, I don't want to do life without you. And I'm not too prideful to admit I need y'all, and I need my family, and I need my husband, and I'm not, and I mean, not saying anything about me, but like, it's okay to admit it. I love y'all too, Rodney. And I'm not.
Yeah, Rodney's here in the comments.
I'm not cooking.
In the comments.
You are gonna cook. You got cooking duty today, bro. All day. All right.
All right, let's move right along. Number 3 is expected to grow and given the tools to grow. So any family, especially like I have I wouldn't say we're a young family, because I don't feel like I'm a young man, but I have a new family that has been developing with my son, and I have an expectation to see him grow. With a baby, you have these milestones, you have these expectations. You want to see things happening by a certain time, and you want to know that for the development of them, but also because you want to make sure that they're hitting those spots, but also you want them to grow. You want them to grow into a certain spot. And what kind of dad would I be if I just expected my son to grow, but I didn't give him the opportunities to grow, didn't give him the tools to be able to grow, right? It becomes a thing of how could that be? How could somebody grow in that case? And so we at ATAP, we expect you to grow if you're a partner with us, if you're a resident that comes in and participates in our activity and you join our larger family. We expect you to grow. We expect things to happen in your life. And we're going to give you the tools. We're going to give you the things that you need to be able to see you grow.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, and sometimes that's hard because when we care about each other, I have a friend. Shout out Rosie. Shout out to my homie Rosie. But like she and I have this relationship, like a friendship that, like when I'm wrong, I want, and she has told me, hey, you're not, that's not cool. Like you have to, that's not cool. You should think about this. And that, it doesn't seem like but that's a tool to grow. But I mean, that takes time, like with family members, like with you and I, we have a proven friendship that you can tell me, like we say, we don't want yes men, right? You can tell me when I'm off, and I can express to you some things when I feel a certain way about something. And we respect each other with it. And it's not always easy to hear, but if I'm your friend and I'm your family, you're my friend and you're my family, we're going to help each other with the tools that we need to grow, because if we're not growing, what's happening? Are we in neutral? Are we not? Are we moving backward? Are we moving? And because we care about each other, we're willing to say what we need to say, and in a humility of heart, I believe, and not in a demanding way, but in a way that's like, hey, I see this in your life, and it doesn't look like it's leading to a good place. You should consider this. And I'm not only bringing this to your attention, but I think maybe if you did this, that's a tool.
Yeah.
That helps us grow. And I want people in my life like that.
And I think it works into our next pillar, which is that we fight for each other's dreams, right? So we're expected to grow, and we're given the tools to grow. And that, first of all, that comes, and then we fight for each other to accomplish our dreams, right? We fight for those dreams for one another. It's it's becoming our biggest cheerleaders, right?
Yeah.
We help each other identify our goals and our dreams, and then we help each other to achieve them. We work together, right? And what's the limit when we can work together? And we are always encouraging our family members, our team members, our brothers and sisters at ATAP to reach for the sky and really dream the big dreams. And we're gonna fight for that. And part of that fighting is to help grow. So these two really work hand in hand with one another, right? That we fight for each other's dreams, and then we give permission to go and accomplish it, to actually accomplish those dreams. We give permission in that.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, but when someone tells me their dreams, I'm ready to just plan and do it.
Mm-hmm.
And like, oh, slow down. I'm like, but let's do it. You want this, right? Why wait around, wait for it to happen? I think I irritate people sometimes when I do that, when I'm just talking. And so I have to preface, like, are you just talking to me, or do you want to do something about it? And
Right.
that's called fighting for each other's dreams, because we can talk all day long. And that's fine. If you're just brainstorming, let me know.
Right.
But if you really want to do something about it, then doggone it, let's do it.
Let's do it. We only have a few minutes left, so I want to get through. We have 3 more to go through.
You want to do part 2?
Yeah, we can do part 2.
Yeah, and then we can kind of
definitely
elaborate on some of this stuff. It's like, oh my gosh, those next 3.
They're big.
Yeah, they are huge.
They're definitely big.
That's the part where we don't quit and we don't give up when we want to.
When we want to. Because that happens. Just because you're family doesn't mean that that you're always gung-ho, happy-go-lucky, loving life, right?
Yeah. I mean, there are hard times, and how you navigate through those. And maybe we can give some tips and invite some callers in to share how to navigate through the hard times, because they are definitely, what's that word? They're going to come. I was trying to think of a big fancy word, but they're going to come.
They're inevitable.
Inevitable. There you go. Hannah was like, inevitable. But we can't quit on each other. We can. But I always think of, if I make this decision, how am I going to feel about it tomorrow or the next day or the next week or the next month? And if that person dies, how am I going to feel about that? Maybe I'll share some of my regrets on things that I've done in the past. And not to bring anybody down, but just to give, or anything down, but just to give an example, maybe. So yeah, maybe two, if you want to do next week.
That sounds like a good idea. And I'll be studio based.
Okay. Yeah, I should be too. I mean, office based.
Right now I'm up in the hotel lobby. I'm upstairs overlooking the balcony.
Yeah.
So
I hear you. Okay. Well, this is cool.
Yeah. This is a good episode. I feel like we got a lot out. To recap, we started the 7 pillars of family. We talked about how you're always allowed to be yourself. You're never alone. You're expected to grow, and you're given the tools to grow. And we fight for each other's dreams.
Yeah.
And next week we're going to talk about a little bit heavier of some of the pillars, but still very important pillars. And we hope that you join us then.
Yeah. And in the wise words of Too Short, he said, life is too short. Would you agree? And I'm not going to say the rest because it doesn't really apply. Anyways.
I would definitely agree.
All right.
I don't have an end clip anymore. I was editing the end clips and I realized I took it out here. And so I don't have a way to end this other than for us to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining us. We hope that you come back for part 2 next week. And we love you. We love you at ATAP. We love you at Down to Earth Talk.
Yeah.
And we're thankful that you watch this at whatever time you watch this, however you watch this. Let us know. Put a comment in, send us an email. d2e@atap-us.org. You can send us an email. And we'd love to hear from you. So thank you so much for being with us. Until next time, I'm Danny.
I'm Shuri.
There you go.
All right. We'll see y'all. All right. Bye.